Okay, so guys, welcome back. Feels good to be back right here in the studio this morning. It's the midweek edition, and you already know how we do it every Wednesday from hour of 8:30 to 9. You know, we do everything that has to do with the law. Okay, we've been for a while now with the reason legal side of hosting events because we know the activities don't return back to normal, and now we be say a whole lot of things they shell around the world. There are so many laws on ground already. Like I told you guys when I be launched the show this morning, say even asked to say they try to put some laws, instructions, guidelines, you know, for students to feel resume. So even for events, there are things that they must do or know. But we were done with that last week, and we are starting something new, something fresh, something that say has to do with the law, something that has to do with your obeying, you know, something that you're going to benefit from. And definitely the man where Sabi do and pass, the expert, the boss himself, a certified lawyer, you know, he's in the building, and I'll be taking you guys through that journey again this morning. Remember, my name is Limiti, and of course, you are watching your #1 family entertainment channel. Barrister is around, and today is not doing the regular white and black, you know, that we know you're for. We know lawyers for that. How many colors do you guys have, Barrister? Outside white and black, do you guys do any other color?
Blue.
You do blue. Light blue.
Depends, but anything conservative, it must be conservative.
Okay.
That's about it. That we try to not to be shouting.
Oh yeah, you guys are always very cool, calm colors.
Cool, calm people. Very nice.
You know where you're cool though. You know where.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for having me in your wherever you are watching us from. And this is about the legal side of today. We're going to about the legal side of compliance with the law. When you have to comply with the law, you know, many of us we don't understand that what law is about. So we have some perspective of law. So today I just want to talk about quickly about what it means to know law and to comply with the law. To obey with law. Number one, let me quickly tell you that by way of definition, there are so many definitions of law. But basically, the definitions might not be totally the same for everybody. But if you want to describe what law is, these are the 6 things you have to look at. Number one, it's a rule. Number two, it's designed to regulate conduct. So a rule that is meant to regulate conduct. Number three, it must be obeyed or should be obeyed. Number four, there must be sanction. There will be sanction for disobedience. Number five is that rule is different from moral. Number 6 is that it is different from society to society. What does that mean? So that if you have a rule that is meant to regulate your conduct, that is meant to be obeyed, and if it's obeyed, if it's disobeyed, you have sanction to it. And to the extent that if you also do not, you want to say that it's different from morals, and it's also different from society to society. Now, many people don't get that. They always think that law must have a part. That's why I said the legal side of compliance with the law. You have social side. For instance, let me give you what I'm trying to say now. There's a sign that says this is one way. And because for convenience sake, everybody is taking that road in breach of the sign that is there. Now, that has become like the social interpretation of that law. But the law is still the law. So one day, probably you pass there in the morning to your work, and in the evening you are going to pass again, and somebody stops you and arrests you. For as long as that law has not been changed, forget about the social convenience that people take in passing that place. You cannot say that I passed there in the morning. That's number one about law. Because it's a rule that is meant to regulate your conduct, that obedience is necessary, and when there's a sanction. Now, another way of looking at it is that even if there have been years of disobedience of that law, that nobody is talking about it. For instance, in Nigeria...
But does exist.
Okay. For instance, in Nigeria, there's a law against bigamy. What's bigamy? Bigamy is that if a man marries under the law and he has not divorced his wife, or the wife is not late or deceased, he cannot marry another wife. If he does, there's a 7 years imprisonment that is attached to that offense. But what happens? Many people don't even obey that law. They don't look at that law. So you find a man who married, under the law, going to get another wife, and total disregard for that law. Of course, probably the 7 years is not addressed, but that does not mean that the day that law is flagged against any person for whatever reason, whether it's because you have offended the wrong persons or whether there's this kind of backlash against you, for whatever reason, that law would catch you. And that's why when you are working with a sense of impunity, no, it doesn't matter. Always be mindful that there's a legal side of compliance. There's a social side. Oh, even because, okay, by the time you say, oh, the judge that will judge me, is the judge not even himself a guilty of this law, of this law? Why would he judge me? See, that's one about the principle of law, which is called about the rule of law. When it comes to law, really, in the ideal sense, there are three things about the rule of law. Number one is that, it's a law that should be supreme. That's what they call the supremacy of the law. So the law would be above everybody. And then secondly, that the law will take everybody as equal. So equality,
everyone is equal.
Equality before the law. So the law is supreme. You are equal. Probably you are president. There was a time when in UK the prime minister of UK was having meeting in the parliament, and then it became a bit late to go. I had to go get to come to welcome an August visitor at the airport. And so because of the fact that it was running late and what have you, he decided to take a one-way and what have you. Of course, it was like an opera. How dare you? How dare you? You should have left early. So why would you now take a one-way because you're a prime minister? Of course, you have to apologize to the public that, look, it was not intended. And it was a big opera in England at that time, because the law is supreme, regardless of your position. The law is supreme. And then secondly is that the law, you are equal. So because I'm a messenger in my office and you're a prime minister there, the law is equal. It makes you equal. And the third thing is that when you are dispensing the law, there must be respect of the fundamental human rights, so that nobody is, going to lock you up unnecessarily without giving you fair trial and things like that. So all those things put in place. Now, so when you are saying that, oh, the judge, as it were, is also guilty of bigamy. You see, the point is that don't use other person's compliance to judge your own rate. How do I put it? You see, if, like that example I gave you in the first instance, if all of us are doing one way, and the only person that I can catch is just one or two people, because of probably they are nimble or probably I've been targeting them, I catch them and I say that you are taking one way. Now, and I've seen it happen so many times. So many it happens. You cannot be saying that sir, we are many. We are many that are passing the one way. Why would you arrest me? It's not your place, because almost every law that I know that are written will say that anyone caught, not everyone caught. There's a difference between the word anyone and everyone. Everyone is that
anyone can be a scapegoat.
Yes, everyone means that you catch all of us doing that thing wrong. Anyone means that, you see, when we are doing the wrong thing, that's why when your children are joining their bad gang or free and they're doing things, and then those other ones can run away, and then they escape, and your child could not run. It's not an excuse. It's not even a technical defense to say that we are plenty who did it. Law does not say we are plenty. It's like law says that you as a person, as an individual, will answer. So when it comes to compliance with the law, you need to know how to do it. So know the law. So the strategies for compliance is that, number one, know the law. Know the law. Know what the law says. Know how the law puts it. Because some of us are very ignorant of the law. There's a law that is going on around now, the law about karma and what have you. Many people have not read the law. They have not even opened the page of the book to read one. But it's like they are just, following the fray. This is. Know what the law says. Read the law. And, I was to do a trip out abroad one time, and, and somebody, I was to take something there, and I wasn't sure whether it was right or wrong. So I asked, this national of that country, please, when you go to your country, they can I take this one? He said, I'm not sure, but go and check very well, because if you enter my country with any illegal thing, you might not come back on time. He told me, you might not come back on time. And, that's why, as I was telling about that law, local compliance, for instance, if you're going to UK here, they allow you to take ugu, rice, everything, egusi, whatever, to carry around. If in England, they say that ugu rice is banned substance, and they pass you here because it's a right, it's not banned. You cannot say because I was passed in Nigeria that the law is about the place where you are.
But they know where you are going to now.
I mean, for instance, look, it's possible that even the customs are clearing you, and they've not adapted my mind to what is happening in England. It's about, that's why I say that number one is a rule. Number two is meant to regulate your conduct. Number three is meant to be obeyed. Number four, it's meant to have sanction. Number five is different from moral. Number six is different from place to place. So
the law that applies in Lagos is different from what in Ibadan.
Oh yes. I'll give you, when we come back, I'll tell you about what happened to my wife and I when we ran from here to Ogun State, doing one lockdown, doing one environmental sanitation. And we ran from here thinking that, we escaped. We ran very early.
You wanted to beat.
We actually beat it without realizing that they have started that same thing in Ogun State.
Okay.
So
when you got there, it was not like you just entered into their hand. They just stopped us at the border. You cannot go. You're under lockdown. Is it? No escape route. But anyways, Barrister, let's go for a quick break. So that when we come back, we can open the phone lines. All right, so guys, please stick around with us. We'll be right back. No time.
Our people in the talk say ignorance of the law. Don't be excuse.
If my name is for property, my child don't take that thing.
But I get one question. Now, if person die now and he puts his wife or he puts any of his relative as next.
Ignorance of the law no be excuse o. That's na why we get one ogbonge program wey we dey call Legal Matta on top WAP TV. You fit interact with us on top the show or talk to Barrister Vincent through we phone numbers wey be 08173147589 and 08105434984. You still fit call us on top with Skype ID wey be WAP TV.
I told you all that it was going to be a quick one, a quick break, and yes, we are back. Definitely this time it's for me to open the number so that you can answer or you can call through. Just like with Barrister, they tell us of what he was saying before we went on that break. The law is no respecter of persons, and you need to understand the fact that the law will get for Lagos in as much as we did under one country, one nation, but then the law in Lagos is different from that of waiting the shell for Ibadan, and same thing with Ogun State and the rest of them. So you need to know a lot about the law because ignorance of the law truly is no excuse. So feel free to call those numbers on your screen, 081-054-3498, of course 081-731-47589. Please add us up on Skype. Call. And if you are confused, maybe they don't use the law cheat you before because it happen. When you don't know, they will not use it against you. Whereas maybe you're even right, but because you did not know, that one now you don't pass. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So many times now we don't pay money, we're not supposed to pay, but because we did not know, you had to pay. So you can just call, and then feel free to ask your questions and obviously share your contributions with us on the show this morning. So, Barrister, I give you a tell us the story.
Yeah, that's the start. We ran. My wife and I ran. By the time we got to Ogun State border, at least some got we're locked, we're told to sit down, to just stay there. In fact, they said they are just pitying us, that they were taking us to mobile court for violating their law.
They also need to chill.
Yeah, and because it was a matter of ignorance. Just like we said, we thought
it wasn't like you were intending to disobey.
No. As at that time, what happened was that there was a change of government in Ogun State. The previous government was not in tandem with that Ogun State. So it was a way to when you run from Lagos, you can. So we ran very early. By 5 or 6, we had woken up to say that by 7,
you should be there.
We should be there. Of course, and we're there. We're there by 7 o'clock on the dot to move to cross into State. All for us to see that, there's that same law here, which is so. And we're like, what are you doing? I said, look, we're running. Sorry. But one thing that they said was that because you are coming from out of the, we will not. We'll just leave you. But you are not going to move away from here. So we spent 7 to 10 o'clock.
So if you're a resident, they expect that you should have known at that time. But that is because they want to be nice because that I do not know is not an excuse. And that's why we should pay attention to all these things. You know, there are many people who take, you know, there's a social dimension. There's a social dimension of law. There are people that think, oh, that law is not good law. Nobody, they obey them. Look, you know, try them. Make it, you know, look, don't child abuse, domestic violence. You know, in time past, you can beat a maid of yours. You know, but then there was law then too now.
There was no law in that sense.
Oh,
it's just like, there was no
it wasn't being enforced.
There was no, maybe law is not more about a battery of persons, assault of person, but no proper law for child abuse, domestic violence in that sense. So people can, of course, they can still be tried for that. But right now, because of the, you know, the spike in that abuse thing, you know, many people, there's law now. And that's why if you think the way you were trained is where you should train
your child
or treat the people.
Okay, let's take Raphael from Benin. Hello, Raphael, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
I want to ask a question.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, my question is this, please. I'd like to ask the position of the law in vehicle papers. Like, if you're buying a vehicle, because most times, if you're buying a vehicle this time, a lot of people say their vehicle with their plate number. And sometimes, if you're driving along the road, the police will tell you that this is not applicable, that you are supposed to get your own. And most people, they don't have time to be doing all those. So I really like to know
Raphael,
the position of the law concerning change of ownership and driving with your papers correctly, especially when you are buying a second hand, maybe from somebody, maybe a third person or maybe a second person using that same vehicle. You understand?
Yeah, Raphael, thank you very much. You see, you said something that I'm gonna hold on to. Most people don't have time, you know, and that's one of the things that make a lot of people fall victim. Most people don't have, you know. As a lawyer, I never understood or knew really that your car, if it's tinted, has to have
a tinted permit. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know. And I drove the car for a while. And so the day that, I mean, despite the fact that I have a lot of connection as well in the force that could have helped me with ease without even too much trouble at all. But I didn't know. And I was stopped. And I was like, look, you can't stop me, blah, blah, blah. You know, you can't stop me. Blah, blah.
You know where?
The guy said, okay.
You say you're speaking grammar.
There's a law. So, you know, because of people I know, I just call Henry, what's happening here? Some of your men are doing this and they're calling me, they're trying to arrest me. He said, uncle, there's a law. There's a law. You should have had the time to go and do that. I said, I didn't even know. Now, many people don't know that there's a law, and people think that law, because they will tell you that it doesn't matter. And that's what you hear a lot. Could matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody they do that thing. If they look and they find that you are wrong, you are in soup. So the law says that when you have a plate number, the plate number is isolated, is more or less special or preserved for an individual, to the extent that individual can take that plate number to another car. So long it's registered in your name. All you just need to say, okay, I have a new car. Just inform the motor registry department that I have a new car, but this new car is same number I'm taking to it. Now, so if I sell an old car to you and I have my number put there, as convenient as it might be for you not to go and get another number, as cheap as it might be for you, remember that number was not registered to you. So when you are driving the car and somebody arrests you, it becomes an issue that you have bought the car really, but the law says that you must have your own personal number. And since you don't have it, it becomes an issue.
But then from what I heard though, because I think I've heard something like this before, like it takes time for you to get, if you want to renew, like you want to move from that plate number to yours, from that number plate to yours.
Start the process.
So, but then if they not catch you in between, because...
No, start the process and have a paper that you start the process.
Okay, so you can always hold on to that and then tender it in case.
I'm starting that.
Okay.
I guess because most of us, we get into problem with the police, with everybody. Why? Because ignorance of the law is like the people use it against us. Like you said, so many aspects of it that people don't even know. They don't want to know. They just believe that it can never happen. It doesn't happen, and people even tell you, like the law about karma, that karma that is happening right now. Many people have not read that law, and that law is basically a rehashment of a law that has been ongoing since 1990, 30 years ago. They just did an amendment and add one or two things to it to make it, And then what people are now saying is like, but this thing has been there since 1990. But people have been practicing that aspect of that law without any reference to that law. It's just that now government is waking up and find out, okay, we're making a new law in addition to the old one that we have, and people are shouting. So you need to know what you are doing. You need to know the law. You need to understand the law. You need to respect the law or obey the law. And if you don't want to obey the law, then go to court and challenge.
Barrister, I'm sorry, but then do you think there can ever be fair judgment or fair hearing in terms of your status in society? Because I just feel, I know there's nobody that is above the law.
Yeah.
We sing that, but I don't know how relevant or how practicable that is for us in the society. Because now we don't see situations whereby some persons get away with some certain things.
I agree with you.
And some people that I feel some persons are even being punished for things way not to make sense. Now, maybe because they know they damn known for the society. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So really, are you sure there are some people that are not?
Yeah, when we talk about law, lawyers when they watch me, when we talk about jurisprudence, jurisprudence now that's philosophy of law in terms of, you see, the thing we say, law and justice are not the same thing. Law and justice. That's why I have to be very careful about when you don't say justice and law. Okay, there's a man in America that was jailed for 34 years for rape, which eventually turned out that when the DNA was carried out, that time was no DNA test, that it was not the one. It was not the one. So he has spent 34 years in jail for what he didn't do. So you could say, where is justice in that? But there was a law. And that's why it's very important that, even those who want to say, okay, I don't believe in this law, yes, I want justice. You have to understand that justice as a concept is almost like a clock, what is called, that pendulum that swings like this. The swinging does not mean that is right, but it's just like that to swing and whatever. Sometimes you try to get justice, sometimes you don't get justice. Sometimes you find that lawyers, remember the case of O.J. Simpson, when he was said to have killed his wife, and then a lawyer helped him to escape. But all the things that he said amounted to the fact that there was an admission. Today, good morning. Okay. So all the things that he said amounted that there was an admission, and eventually all the things that he said was used to jail him later. But in terms of criminal issue, was not used to jail him, but was made to pay compensation. But in terms of criminal matter, it could not be jailed because there are rules, technical rules. It must be proved beyond reasonable doubt.
Okay.
So if you have a lawyer in court or system that allows a proof that is, so you can say the justice is not obtained, but that does not mean that the law is not there. That's why you have to also be very careful that, yes, let me at least pursue law, and by God's grace, I'll get justice. There are some people that are bent on, I'll get justice. I get him. There are judges who do justice. There are judges who do not do justice. There are policemen who do justice. I've been to police when the DPO was almost like God sent angel. He said, no, I will not do this case because this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. I've seen places where policemen are corrupt. I've seen places where, where in family, there's one that is, justice are not gotten between siblings. So justice is but what we're talking about, law, complying with law. Don't let the law put you in a corner. If they say no parking, even if everybody is parking there, for your own interest, because it might take 1 minute for all the other cars to run away. Your own car might be on there, and they will be unlucky. And you say, but they saw the sign. My wife and I went to go and do, was it visa or so, and then we got to a place we wanted to park. We told 2 men who said that we could park there. And then we said, it's okay. He said, it's okay. We went inside, did whatever I want to do. Came out, we couldn't see the car again. What happened? I was even scared.
And the truth is, by the time we get there, you won't see any of them.
Oh, no, we didn't see anything. And another person said, did this guy see the sign? We said, which sign?
But they told us to park.
There was a no parking sign under a tree. Apparently, those two were...
They removed it.
Apparently, those two were part of the team. Of course, we paid. That was the most expensive visa I've ever gotten. We paid almost 80,000 to remove the car. We have to look for my wife's to look for her tax papers and things like that, and what have you to get. So,
or what could have been avoided?
Avoided, and that's why you have to understand. By the time we came out, just like, look, there was a sign there actually, but we didn't advert our mind to the time. We were just asking those gentlemen, can we park here? So when people are telling you, sir, for your children, look at what they are doing very well. Let them understand that you could put you and the family into trouble. When you are collecting things from your children without understanding where they are bringing it from.
You don't know the source.
Yes.
Bringing in cars, giving you money, and it's not working.
To crime and things
I think we're still going to talk more on this. Definitely,
yes,
it's a fresh topic. It's a fresh one, so we're just starting. Anyways, we need to go. Thank you to everybody who've been taking our time to join us again on the show this morning. Remember, Barista will be here next week, Wednesday, but then the show continues.
This show is a good platform for you.
Yes,
to advertise and to sponsor.
Please come sponsor us.
Many viewers.
You know. Bye, guys.
Bye.